Kenny tells us about the Blues homecoming.
This is a long time in football, and for football fans in Limerick, it has felt longer than most. But on Friday evening, they eventually returned to their spiritual home of the Markets Field. The old place has changed a lot since the gates closed in 1984, and we caught up with Ger and Shane Duggan ahead of the return home.
Most of the team were locals, some massive crowds, and we basically had a very good side. And when Owen came around in as manager, and then Owen brought our professionalism to the team. In the Markets Field at the time, we had 6,000 and 7,000 at each match. And so, and then you had the European games, massive games as well, Southampton.
Egan, Shannon, up towards Moran once more. Oh, that is a beauty.
I said Limerick don't win very much, but it was some experience. I never realised that I was the last player to score a goal in the Markets Field. But hopefully, my son here, Shane, he might get the first back again, hopefully.
It's been a long time coming, you know. We were supposed to be in there at the start of the season, but it's come around now fast, so we're delighted to be going back in there. As you've seen yourself, the surface in there is fantastic, and there's a great buzz the last 2-3 weeks. Everyone's been going on about it, and I'm sure there'll be a good atmosphere there tonight.
I think there'll be a great atmosphere because the crowd will be right up and your face on the edge of the pitch. When I played, you had the dog track around, but I feel that the closer they are, the better atmosphere it is.
I know there's a lot of media hype around this game tonight because they're back in the Markets Field, but for me it's just another game, and I'll be looking to get the 3 points.
In my lifetime, we would see football back there again, you know, and it's just unbelievable. It's going to be unbelievable there tonight to go in there and watch the boys run out there tonight. It'll be sad, but it's a great occasion as well, you know.
It wasn't the happiest of starts to life in their new ground as Limerick conceded after 13 minutes as a free kick was headed to the net by Drogs skipper Michael Daly. Limerick had a great chance to equalise but found Drogs keeper Michael Schlingermann in inspired form, saving from both Sean Russell and Kieran Hanlon in quick succession. Darragh Rainsford tried to pick out a teammate from the loose ball, but to no avail. The efforts on the Drogheda goal kept coming as the ball was now slung back into the danger area where both Paul O'Connor and Russell lurked at the back post, but they couldn't supply the finish. Disappointment for the former Drogheda player and his manager Martin Russell, and Drogs led 1-0 at the break. Into the second half, and then the first goal at their new ground as Shane Tracey supplied the cross and a Bullet O'Connor header made it 1-1. 48 minutes and the home fans were on their feet. But Drogheda hadn't read the script and retook the lead on 54 minutes. Lee Duffy showed great composure to get away from the Limerick defenders and then roll the ball ever so gently to the back of the net. 2-1 now to Drogheda. Indeed, it was very nearly 3-1 when Sean Brennan played in Tiarnan Mulvenna, but Limerick keeper Conor O'Donnell stood up strong to keep the deficit at 1. Late on, Limerick did get a couple of chances to earn a share of the spoils. The first as Vinny Faherty's cross was headed on by Clarke, which Schlingermann saved well. Limerick then had claims for a penalty waved away as Clarke tangled with Schlingermann in the area. But no penalty was forthcoming, and Drogheda held on to win 2-1 and spoil Limerick's party.
Very disappointing. I thought they deserved something out of it. Pity didn't get the draw there. It looked like a dodgy decision there at the end. There could have been a penalty. I don't know, I'd like to see it again. But they deserve something out of it.
We had great support today. There's 2,500 there, but I said it's disappointing we couldn't get the result. That's probably the story of our season so far. We got back into the game, we were starting to dominate, and to give away a sloppy goal against the run of play is very disappointing.
Yes, it would have rounded the day off perfectly for Limerick had they got something out of the game, but they didn't, and full credit to Drogheda United for picking up their third consecutive win in all competitions. But Dave, you were there on the evening, and a big crowd, great atmosphere, just disappointing result from Limerick's point of view.
Fantastic. Right around the ground, you know, you'd see old men with scarves. You could see that it's probably their first time back there for a while. You know, it's the spiritual home of soccer in Limerick, and just the crowds, the whole atmosphere. You know, within the ground, it was fantastic, and you have to say the pitch is immaculate. It's probably, you know, close to the best ground.
Which is great to hear, isn't it?
Well, it's fantastic. You know, we've been knocking grounds for the last number of years on this show, but to have a ground like that, and there's absolutely a fortune of money gone into getting the surface perfect. And everybody, Pat O'Sullivan down there, I met him on the night. you know, everybody's so excited about being back in the Marcus Field, and you know, there was a real feel-good factor. You're the president down there, Michael Lee Higgins. He's on a lot of grounds, but you know, a great support of the league, and he was there. Owen Hand and all the teams from the 80s that won the league, they were there. So it was a tremendous night. It's just unfortunate that they didn't get the result that they wanted so badly, you know.
Yeah, and you've concerns about the way they're going about their business at the moment.
Well, I hate to be a bit negative about Limerick, but you have to say that like the way they play, like Martin Russell has the team playing, it's total football really. You know, it's the keeper gets the ball, he's out on the edge of the box, goes to the Williams, he gives it to the full back, goes back again, you know. The young Russell goes across the park, and this was happening all night. I'd say the two centre-backs got more touches the ball than anybody else in the park, but you have to say, when you play it this way and this open, that you're going to concede. You're going to give away goals because, you know, it's a misplaced pass, which happens here. The ball is into touch, and next you're defending a throw when you had possession, defending a throw outside your own box. So, you know, I applaud Martin for the way he wants to play football, the dynamic of what he's trying to do, but I think you'd need probably 10 years to do that, are very, very quality players. I think
you need experience in the squad, but do you think, Alan, that Martin Russell has the most difficult job in the Premier Division at the moment?
Well, you would have to say, even looking at the table, Peter, because things, as I keep saying, I suppose it was an attractive job for Martin when he took over. There was a lot of things in place and a lot of plans in place also about where they were going to go. But of course, we've seen the negative publicity at the start of the season. I think Shane Duggan alluded to it in his interview. They had hoped that they would have been in the ground, obviously, before the start of the season. That hadn't happened. So there was a couple of knockbacks. They're in the ground now. It obviously looked like a fabulous occasion. There are like 2,500 people, which would beg a question for me, Peter. Where have them people been for the last how many weeks? Why aren't they out supporting them if there's 2,500 going to the match the other night? But look,
there wasn't great comfort really in Jackman Park for starters.
It is a football town, you know. It's great. Yeah. Like I've talked to a load of players from the 80s, and they're all there. They're delighted to be back there, and there's a feel-good factor. But you have to say, like Martin said, they're after playing 15 games. They haven't won a game yet. Like, what is there, 18 games to go or so? I can't see them winning 5 games. You know, the way they play, they're going to concede. They're going to give it. They've left in the most goals in the league, and they've only scored 11 goals. So things need to change for Martin and set them up to be more defensive and to not concede. And
one thing is for sure that a little bit of support, that extra bit of support, won't do them any harm either. So we wish Limerick the very best for the rest of the season, especially being back at the Markets Field. So well done to them. OK, plenty of goals from